Alex downstairs at Lunaire, she had someone set up her ads manager and she was supposed to be doing 300 quid a month was her ad spend. They set her up at like 80 quid a day. And it was only because we'd spotted it on that day and she only started the day before.
Scary moment, that.
If you have no knowledge at all, how can you trust?
It means I haven't been checking the ads.
If she hadn't looked at that, she'd just got an invoice from Meta for 700 quid.
My biggest nightmare of panic is suddenly thinking, did I put the right ad spend on that? They're putting a lot of trust into me just doing it.
How does the agency not making that mistake? And then secondly, how does the business owner or the brand make sure that isn't happening?
How does the client know the agency's going to do the job properly?
It's not the agency's money, it's the client's money. And it's amazing how many of these smaller brands are just relying on people just from day one, rather than just going out and learning themselves.
I think it's the best thing I've ever done.
Utter waste of time. And it's really annoying me. Welcome to the Fake Marks, everybody.
Hello, James.
We have the doctor's back.
I'm back.
From his travels.
Yeah.
Where you been, Nick?
Certificate. Certificate. Plus the suit and pipper. It's actually spelled suit and pipper. 1P.
So where you been?
Certificate.
South.
Town.
You've been to Cape Town. You've been to
Cape
South Africa.
South Africa, yes.
Good.
And the garden route, which is all the way along to Port Elizabeth. You can go further. Didn't have time. Big country. The thing that's mad is on the way back, I was saying to Michael that plane took off at 10 p.m, had your dinner. I fell asleep, looked at the clock, fell asleep at 12 after watching a movie, woke up 6.5 hours later, turned on the screen, looked at the map, still over Africa. It's just mad, isn't it?
Yeah, how big it is.
The bit that we drove right at the bottom, so Cape Town on the little corner bit, right at the bottom, and then you go slightly north, which obviously we did in one go, but it took us, well, there was a 2 hour and then a 4 hour, whatever. But that stretch, which is minute on the map, is the entire length of our country.
It's mad, isn't it?
It's just, you just can't believe it. But yeah, great trip, great country. Cape Town's amazing, really cheap, really beautiful. Just
see any wildlife, Nick?
Yeah, you saw all the wildlife at the same time, pretty much the same time as me, because every time I do a video, it's like, you got it.
Nick Attenborough, Boddington.
Lions, zebras, cheetahs. It's the coolest thing ever. I think it's the best thing I've ever done.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Like, you've been to some cool places in your life. That just tops it all off.
Not all the patients you've saved and all that.
Exactly. I know. I mean, Michael, you get reward from that, but actually, like on the day we saw the lions on the second day, it starts raining, it's all getting messy. Your guide's then getting annoyed and it's like, I'm really sorry, because they want you to see stuff, don't they? So it was like mission to find the lions, and they're all radioing and speaking Afrikaans. You can't hear what they're saying, but basically they're just like, we think it's here. And then during the night they have the anti-poachers who are all hanging around and stuff like that. So they're watching where all these people are. So they all communicate. So it's like, I think they're there. So you can't drive there fast. You're going through all the bush. And then suddenly, like, you just see that video, the lion and the lioness walking past. It's just unbelievable. It's so cool. I'm like, I'll go on loads more. So the guy I was talking to in the office earlier, he overheard me talking about Cape Town to Wendy. He'd got back 3 weeks ago, similar trip. And he was just like, it's amazing. But he was like, he's done 5 game reserves. He did 3 in Sri Lanka. So one of our next trips, we want to do Sri Lanka. And he says an amazing one in Sri Lanka. You see leopards and stuff. But he's just like, they're just addictive because every day you don't know what you're going to see, do you?
No.
It's really cool. And then, you've got your guides and they're getting out and they're looking at the footprints on the thing, trying to see what direction the cheetahs have gone. It's cool. It's really cool.
He's really happy with that, aren't he?
So wild animals, loads of wine, really cheap food. When my Monzo came through, any listeners who haven't been to South Africa, it is the cheapest place I've ever been to in my life. And my Monzo's just 9 quid, 3 quid, 6 quid. We didn't pay any more than the 3 quid for an Uber. So there's no point in walking. Just getting an Uber everywhere. And they're there. Like here now, you have to wait seconds. Like literally, we wouldn't book until we got outside because you're going to waste their time by walking down the stairs. Mad.
Nice.
Really cool. I bought you some gifts. Bought you a gift.
Go on then.
Right, so first of all, got 2.
I'll go to your interlock.
So 1,
Yes. Yes. Okay.
bag of biltong.
Nice.
Hopefully it's still right. If it makes you sick when you open it because it's got off, we'll know, won't we?
No, that's class. Thank you.
So the biltong over there is not like the biltong. You know in here, and it's like you take your teeth out by trying to eat it out of the packet.
Yeah, that looks like
That stuff is like, some pieces you'll find are actually still rare.
Ooh.
And it just like melts in your mouth.
Nice. Okay.
So hopefully it's right. I mean, it got bagged up 2 weeks ago, so should be fine.
Should be fine. Thank you.
The other one's not edible, but I thought it was quite cool.
What is this?
Cap.
I got me a cap. The future is good.
Yeah, so that's the company that where I was working from over there. They did their own like gear and stuff. So it was quite cool. I got one in red.
Nice. Make a note.
There you go.
James buys you like meme gifts and you bought him like actual genuine gifts.
Well, I forgot about the biltong actually, to be fair.
Yeah, I forgot.
I totally forgot about that. And that's, yeah.
It'll last 3 weeks in the fridge once you've opened it. So
Nice.
Stick it in a Tupperware.
Are you still doing your carnival thing?
Back on it. I had a few weeks off because I did a race. You've been away, but obviously, you know, I absolutely smashed it. 24th. So I came off, I had like, you know, some pizza and stuff, just treat myself. I'm back on it now
Yeah.
for my next one, so yeah. So,
That'll be good. Bit of meat.
love a bit
That
of
won't
meat.
last 3 weeks, will it? Probably not.
No, it will last 2 days. So yeah.
So biltong factories are cool. Well, they call it a factory, but it's basically a shop. So that was like in the middle of nowhere.
How much was this out of cost?
How much was that? £2.
Nice.
I don't know what the rand like. Is it
5 to 1.
How is it?
Yeah, about 4.5, 5 to 1. We worked it out the other day.
Yeah, 100 rand is £4.
Oh no, 3.5 then. 3.5.
Yeah.
Nice. Anyway, right. So today, I had a. You know, Alex. Why are you giggling at?
No, just the way you write. Enough of it.
Right. Enough of this nonsense. Right. So Alex downstairs at Lunaire, who was in the other podcast.
Shut up.
I looked at her ads man. Shout
What you just say a company name? Shout out.
out.
Yeah, that's what you
She
Go shout him out.
she had someone set up her ads manager and ads, right? And she was supposed to be doing 300 quid a month was her ad spend.
Is this the one you came on to the other podcast?
Correct.
Yeah.
And they set her up at like 80 quid a day. And it was only because we'd spotted it on that day and she only started the day before.
Yeah.
So today,
Scary moment, that.
yeah, but really, how can you trust if you have no knowledge at all?
Yeah.
Like, she'd have been in the hole. If she hadn't looked at that, she'd have got an invoice from Meta for 700 quid, wouldn't she?
Yeah.
Because they were using like a monthly budget for like a daily budget.
No.
God knows.
Well, I don't know. So you have two ways of saying. You have a lifetime budget where it's more, or you have a daily budget, and it will try and spend and usually overspend that budget.
She thought she was spending that like a month or a week or whatever, and that must have been what she was spending a day.
I would say out of all the ads that I've set up in all the years, my biggest nightmare of panic is suddenly thinking in the night or on a journey, or I've done it this holiday, is suddenly thinking, did I put the right ad spend on that? When, especially when you're going in really quickly and you're changing something from 20 to 50 or a day on an ad. And very, very often, as you're doing it, you'll put 20 and it'll suddenly be 200 because you've whatever. And it usually comes up with an alarm, you see. Well, alarm. It comes up saying, this doesn't look like your average daily spend in yellow, like a warning. And you go, oh, yeah, done that. But I wake up so many times, or when I log back into an ad account, it won't just be on yesterday, it might do the month, but the account you've just been looking at was yesterday, and then you log into the next one, don't look at the dates, and it says like $2,000, and you're like, oh my God, I spent $2,000 in a day. It's pretty scary stuff. But I think it's easy for it's easy for someone not to do it properly. Or they haven't listened.
But if you take her as an example, and really the question is, how do you get around it?
How do you get around it?
Oh, how do you get around? Well, I guess there's two ways. There's two aspects to this. How does the agency get around it by not making that mistake? And then secondly, how does the business owner or the brand spot it, make sure that isn't happening? Like, I have a knowledge of ads manager, and to be fair, as you know, not anywhere close to yours. I spotted it.
Yeah.
But I know an ad account. But how would she spot it?
If you've never seen Ads Manager before.
She wouldn't. Most people don't. So in the ads clinic, they're bringing a lot of trust into me just doing it.
But they've got a doctor.
But they have to build the trust. One of the things is that building up the trust, isn't it, to do it? In the agency, it's about having multiple sign-offs.
So let's do it from an agency perspective then. So how would you limit? Yeah, how would you reduce
The fact
the likelihood of that happening from an agency
by having an internal sign-off. So the client would sign off all the imagery and everything like that, and they get a preview of the ad.
Yeah.
But on that, they won't see in Ads Manager unless they look into Ads Manager to see what the budget is. So you'd probably finalise that with an email saying we're spending 20 quid a day on this ad. But if you put 200 quid in a day because you got it wrong by accident, easy mistake, you put in 2 zeros, press go, Facebook doesn't show you a warning sign. Any ad that I set up, for at least 4 days, I'll look at it every single day to see how it's performing and whether it's optimizing. Because within 3 days, you're knowing if it's optimizing or not. So if the agency has set up an ad, put in the wrong amount of money, and hasn't gone in and seen that it's spent 79 quid the day before, and gone, wow, we didn't have 79 quid, it's only 20 quid. It means they haven't been checking the ads. But your question is, how does the client know the agency's going to do the job properly?
Yeah, and let's say that you said to Michael, set this ad up at 20 quid a day, and he sets it up at 200 quid.
Yeah, should have been signing off his work.
It'd be like that Mr. Beast thing, it'd be like, cheers Michael, you lost for something.
Signing off each other's work, or someone in the team doing due diligence, looking at the certain accounts and making sure they're all doing what
The problem is, what you've just said that Michael is interesting because it's not the agency's money.
No.
It's the client's money.
Yeah.
And that's you've got to that's the problem.
It's the whole communication with the client. It's also checking your own work for the clients. Like every single one of our clients, unless it's ones which are accounts which run smoothly, they've been there longer, there's less movement on it. Daily, every 2 days, it's all being looked at. Maybe that's my addictiveness in wanting to make sure those accounts are all running. Because if they're all running, you're sitting in a much better place, aren't you? If everything's running nicely than having accounts with problems. So I want to know. But there's agencies that we've come across when speaking to new clients that they've used in the past where not just that, but other things is common. It's not to say that every agency is bad, because there's good agencies, but how do you know you're going to have a good agency?
Well, the problem you don't do.
We all talk the same talk.
Yeah, it's just that when I was speaking to her earlier, it's a good job we caught her, and I was just sort of catching up with her to see how she was getting on. And actually, she went back to the agency and said, basically, what on earth have you been doing? Because something else we spoke about when we saw her was around where she's sending the traffic, and I was like, no one's gonna. This is pants. Like no one's gonna.
Where was she sending it?
To a landing page, but it was all, wasn't it? It was so. It was awful. Like the imagery was. It was just so
just
naff.
Bad. Yeah.
Now she'd pay that agency a one-off fee.
Of how much?
I reckon a few hundred quid. She didn't say. She didn't even tell me downstairs earlier.
A few hundred quid.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a lot of money.
No, and which is, but
that's as well as the ad budget. Honestly.
Yeah, that's on top of the ad budget. Yeah, but it's like, well,
but they're also probably not doing a great deal of work or good work for that money, are they? Because this is why I get questioned with the pricing for the ads clinic. When you say how much it is, it's like, but it's like you want good work done, and it takes some time, and it's like, well, how much would it be to do that? It's like, well, that's going to take 3 hours, so 3 hours work. But if someone's undercharging, you do hear it quite a lot from people I speak to who are like, oh, I used to use this lad who did that, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you're not there to slag them off, but it's just like, you just don't know. That's where, the podcast and stuff, like the lady I spoke to yesterday, she'd been listening to the podcast for 6 months, got to a stage now where she tried things out, and she said the same thing. She said, I wanted to understand how it worked enough to know that when I started speaking to people, I knew everything was right or going the right direction. Do you know what I mean? So she spent 2 months listening to the podcast. She built her ads based on that podcast. She's actually doing 3.5 ROAS from that, which is great. And then just like, look, I've got to run the business. I want you now to take over. But if you don't know what you're doing, but that comes down to exactly what she said.
Because that's what you said to Alex. You said like get some knowledge of running the ads yourself, so that when you go to agencies, you sort of have a bit of understanding what they're talking about.
Well, I'm a big believer of that.
We did it with email marketing before we used Rate and Bird.
Yeah.
We did it all ourselves. We got our results. Then he did it.
We never had the luxury of having the money to just, apart from maybe using the SEO guys, but up in Manchester. But apart from that, we've never had the luxury of that. And it's amazing how many of these, these smaller firms, brands are just relying on people just from day one, rather than just going out and doing or learning themselves. But is it laziness? Like Alex is a really nice girl. I would not class her as lazy, but if you've got or any background at all in that, it's going to take some time to learn, isn't it? Like we know what Meta's like. It's hard enough knowing it, let alone starting from utter scratch. Yeah. Which is why you pay an expert. That's why you pay.
But you've got to make sure that that's an expert.
No, I know.
And not just someone who knows how to do stuff.
It's really hard.
Like I've had clients, haven't I, who they're small agencies, freelancers, that I'm checking the ads that they're doing for a client. So they've sold themselves in, won the business, and then I'm basically running the ads for them. That's just weird. But that agency thinks that they're great.
I was going to ask about the thing that I just thought of was with people coming in a lot with ads clinic who don't have any knowledge of ads and stuff. How much do you sort of take what they say and also add your own? Because people are going to come and say, oh, I want to spend this much budget, I want to do this. Does it ever get where you have to sort of take over and kind of tell them what's best because they don't know enough, if that makes sense?
Yeah.
I'm getting that.
Yeah, all the time. Well, the biggest question is how much budget can you spend? And you can spend 10 to 20 pounds or dollars a day and still get results. But green wave renewables is an interesting one because they do air source heat pumps. We're starting on £25 a day, want to test things out, getting a few leads coming in, and the metrics are all there. So when you look at Ads Manager and you see all the metrics, and it's like, okay, that many people are going from the ad to the landing page, that stacks up about right. From the landing page, they're doing this. It all sort of works. But with his cost per lead being at £30, spending £25 a day just isn't enough to get your ad actually out there. So we just turned up to 40, and just that little bit more, 15 quid a day, changed the game for him. And now, in the last couple of days, I had 8 leads, 3 of them have turned into appointments. For an air source heat pump, there's actual, there's money in it, margins in it. So today I literally said, hey, this has happened, how are they going? And he said, great, 3 appointments, can you turn up the ad spend more now? But it's having that, it's that hand-holding experience, isn't it? Yeah. Because they don't know, and it's understanding. So your question is...
Yeah, because I think people say the customer's always right, the client...
No, I told them they're wrong. Do you know what? Very rarely do I get anyone who actually claims that they go against what you're saying. They kind of have a picture of they've all done a bit of it in the past. One guy I had to say the other day, he was one of them who never came to the calls, and then eventually he did come onto a call, but this was one of the mobile.
Was he a builder?
He was a painter and decorator. And he said, I just can't get it. And I said, well, do you do this? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, yeah, but it ended up that he was using the phone Ads Manager.
Oh, okay.
And I said, I can't help anyone with this. And he said, what do you mean? I thought you were an expert. I said, I've never even accessed Ads Manager on a phone. None of us do. We sit on a desktop in our working time and make your ads and look at the metrics and all this. I said, you can't do that on a phone. It's minimal. So he's spending all this time and effort and money setting things on. And I said, just use your laptop. And this was me saying that was the new thing. And we find it with everything, don't we? It's more and more people just sit on their phones and do things opposed to laptops. But he was like, I have to get my laptop out. And I was just like, I can't help. I don't know how to tell you to run an ads manager.
Did that go anywhere?
No.
No, I thought it was weird that.
No.
I had a sneaky suspicion it might not.
Well, there's some things you might talk yourself out of. But no, so you don't really get people. You do get the biggest thing is, and I was having this actually while I was away, is all the instructions or notifications that Meta send to someone who's advertising, saying you should do this, you should do that. You'll get 3% more lift on here, 30% more lift on that. I get that a lot. Emails or WhatsApps coming through saying, Meta's just sent me this, should we change? No. Do you know what I mean? It's like, look,
because Meta has said it, they think, oh, this must be wrong.
Yeah.
Meta are useless.
But the ones who've been on a call with Meta soon realise that the ads don't work, or start with a traffic awareness, then follow it with traffic, and then do a conversion.
No match for the doctor.
No.
Well, let's go on to some marketing we've seen this week.
Yeah.
So we'll start with you because you've been away.
Yeah, but I was trying to catch up, wasn't I, on the things I'd seen. The thing is, the thing that actually annoys me, is that I see something and I then take a photo or save it on TikTok or Instagram, and then when I come to finding it, I don't know where I've put it.
Well, I don't like it when you see an ad all the time, and then when it comes to the podcast, I'm now trying to find the ad, but now it's nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
Well, can I just mention something? Not so much marketing, but the social media algorithms, which are really annoying me at the moment.
What?
So you'd have seen these, which I'm going to call them now, and you're going to bleep this out, on social media. These f***ers with their fucking drones auditing different buildings and stuff. Have you seen them? Have you not seen them? So they go to like a...
Well, you've seen one, you got annoyed, watched it, and now you're seeing it all.
No, they've been around for years, but it's now it's now wasting police time. So these like, honestly, Mark, it's actually really bad. So you'll get these like guys who go to a big manor estate. They go, hi, just let you know, I'm just about to fly my drone over the...
Oh, yes, I have seen this.
Right.
Yeah, there was a girl on a driveway. I don't know if she was famous or not.
I know, Louisa Zisman, her name is. She was on The Apprentice, I know.
That's it. And she was like, no, you need to get off my land.
The fucking police are involved. Yeah, they're wackers, mate.
So what's the idea of it?
So basically, legally, as long as the CAA, which is the Civil Aviation Authority or whatever it is, apart from being in certain places, you can fly anywhere. As long as the drone is under 250 grams, I think it is, you can basically fly a drone anywhere you want.
So so these rich people that are obviously annoying, they could literally be on a summer's day, be sitting around their swimming pool, and a drone could be allowed to film them.
Yeah. That's the reality to it.
Right.
But they do it. They go to these houses or they go to these buildings. Yeah, they go to car dealerships. They do all this stuff. And it's just to antagonise people.
Yeah. To get content.
And then the police are involved. But actually, when you see how many people are doing it now, it's honestly...
because they're getting paid on the views, aren't they, by TikTok?
Yeah.
So as soon as they get the viewage time, because people are watching it...
The technical term, I think, is rage bait.
Rage bait. So
it's like clickbait, where they're like getting you in with that, but rage bait is just like... It's like basically what Twitter is now, where it's like people just put in stuff that they know is going to antagonise people just to get views, basically.
So I think personally that all the social media platforms should just not give these guys any views or any time of day, because it's ridiculous. Because it's an utter waste of time.
Yeah.
And it's really annoying me.
I could see. And now you're in the algorithm.
Yeah, because they're doing it knowing they're going to get confronted.
There's a younger lad now who's obviously seen a little gap in the market for just being like someone that's not northern, and I think he sounds local to like Warwickshire type. His name's H or something, and he's obviously a young lad as well. So he's going to these estates, and they've just got a load of gardeners going, no, can you not, mate? And he's like, well. No, it's not that I'm not going to. I'm telling you I'm going to, but you can't come near me because I'm flying an aircraft and you'll be... And all this you're just like, oh, mate, just off.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, but it's ridiculous, Michael. The social media platforms need to ban them. They need to just f them off, not give them any viewer time, not pay them any money, and just get rid of them. It's an absolute outrage. So from a marketing perspective, they're doing really well. For what they're doing to society, kill them.
Yeah.
I've been waiting to
I've actually seen those videos. I used to go, but I hadn't until I looked it up. I was like, oh yeah, I think someone got like pushed over or something.
It's nonsense.
And they like replay it in like slow motion and be like, she assaulted me. It's like,
honestly,
and this is on TikTok, so because you've seen that one video,
mate, it's on YouTube. It's everywhere, Nick. It's honestly, it's so bad. They should have no airtime. So bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
Unfortunately, we can't make them have no airtime, can we? Michael, have you seen any?
jobless behaviour. I had a couple that I showed to James that I just thought were quite good from like a Rupert perspective. Not for Rupert, but just like as a, could we use Rupert for this? Again, I can't put it on the... This is another one where I ran across the road. Remember with the McDonald's one where I said I ran across the road and then you said no, I didn't run across the road.
Yeah.
But I was on the right side of the road this time, but again, this is new. I showed this to James already, but IKEA says when you start knitting, and then it's like when you can't stop knitting while one of these. So I don't know if you could do some sort of like, when you start receiving comments or something, it's like someone happily typing, and then it's like when the comments might stop. And like,
Okay.
Just like that, I thought it was quite novel.
Nice.
Good. I have remembered mine. One. It's to do with my South Africa trip. So,
You went to Sun?
in South Africa, Heineken is very big, okay? But when you come out the airport straight away, one whole building, and we're talking massive, all their advertising was just Hein. So talking about the branding and how good branding is, just HIEN, and the rest of it's cut off. And that was their branding everywhere, which I thought was quite cool. So you're not having, you know it so well, it's like, you don't even have to put the whole word there. So that was all over the place.
A lot of brands are doing that. We discussed it, didn't we? British Airways are doing it. A few people of Heinz have done it. A few people have cottoned onto that. I think it's quite lazy marketing now because it's sort of like everyone's sort of doing it. Well, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's just copy.
Yeah, but if Rupert, you could put half a Rupert logo, you'd still do it.
If I could only put half a Rupert logo on, I wouldn't be sat here with you two schmucks. That's the reality. Just one more thing.
Or if it's just the Rupert teal on a billboard.
Yeah.
I called it teal. Though.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
In my head I thought blue, but James shouts on the other side. See, if I said Rupert blue, and then knowing James would get annoyed, that's right? No.
Anyway, one more thing I have seen this week is Ryanair went back to that bold guy. Have you seen it? So Ryanair, usual guy, went, hey, I ordered a window seat. There was no window there for Ryanair. Ryanair replied, turkey flight, question marks, he's bold. Love it. Guy's absolute legend.
Flight. That's actually what they went back.
Yeah, brilliant. Amazing.
Turkey flight.
Love it.
Get it all done in Turkey, mate.
Do the lot. Nick will be there in a few months.
I'll go there when I need to.
When?
Oh, Jesus, it's just unbelievable.
One of the episodes will just come back with new hair, big teeth, and
Bigger.
Devo.
Bevo. Anyway, right, see you next week.
Bye.